streaming across the World Wide Web from the Yorkshire Dales. This is Drystone Radio.
Okay, that was a bit of Will.i.am with Dante Santiago, and that's going out for our very own Crazy Daisy, who should be on her way back from the Craven Gym Club by now. Right at the top of the show, I said that we had a special guest with us tonight, and I do. Sat next to me, it's Alan Gibson, the co-star of the film Lad. Good evening, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, apart from a bit wet and soggy.
A bit wet, and you found us eventually.
Yes, yeah, a few trips up and down Caroline High Street, but we're here.
The metropolis that is
yeah.
Caroline High Street. Right, we've got you on here to talk about the film Lad, predominantly. So, initially, how did you end up with the part in Lad?
I've done what you always do when you're looking for a job. I answered an advert in the newspaper.
Yeah,
and
this was it.
Literally, I answered an advert in the newspaper. Rang the number.
This was a Craven Herald, wasn't it?
It was a Craven Herald, yeah.
So everybody out there could have applied for the same...
I think a lot of people did, but it's surprising, you know, a lot of people had seen it and said, oh, I couldn't have answered that, I couldn't have gone for that. I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I wanted to, so I did.
Yeah.
And went along for the interview, for the audition, and was absolutely amazed. As I left the audition, they said, what are you doing now? I said, well, we're going shopping now. So we're walking up and down the tomato aisle in the supermarket in Kendal, and next thing I know, my phone rang, and they said, we want to offer you the part. Really? My wife threw me out the supermarket because I was running up and down the tomato aisle like a lunatic. And that's how it happened.
You didn't leave the shop without paying for anything, did you?
No, I left Pat in the shop. I think you paid for it.
So at the audition process then, how did that work? Was a big group of people there, or were you there by, you know, you had a slot, a half-hour appointment, or...
Well,
how do these things work?
I went along, it was at the Brewery Arts Centre in Kendal, not knowing what to do or anything, because I'd never ever done anything like it before. Never been for an audition. There were a few other actors, a couple of whom we'd sort of seen on TV, and oh, you know, blimey. The director, Dan Hartley, popped his head out. He said, are you ready? So I said, yeah, fine. Walked in and he said, right, he said, where's your script? I said, well, I haven't got a script. He said, why not? I said, well, you didn't send me one. Oh, right, he said, well, here's a page of script here. He said, have a look at that. He said, do you want to go straight into it, or do you want to have, like, sort of 5 or 10 minutes to, you know, look at the part?
It's all in the preparation, isn't it?
Well, apparently. So I thought, no, I'll have 10 minutes. So I went back outside again, and he said, are you ready? Said, yeah, no problem. Went back in. He said, okay. He said, what I want you to do, he said, I want you to imagine this chap is a 13-year-old boy, and you're going to teach him how to use a saw. Well, the 13-year-old boy was 6'3", heavily bearded, and was actually the producer. It was Richard Sheen. And I thought, okay, well, you know, just forget about that. Just what would you do? What would this guy do? And so I'd done it in a way that I thought he would do it. And they were absolutely amazed by all accounts. So they just couldn't believe that they had what they were looking for. They'd been looking since January, and this was in July. And apparently they'd auditioned big-named actors for the role as well. So, you know, that was a double whammy for me. Not only did I get it, but I beat a lot of good actors to do that. So
yeah, very good.
That was great.
Super. And then the film itself then, how many of the cast went through that similar process, or how many, like you say, big-name actors were picked in a different manner to your sort of answering an advert audition-y?
I don't think there were any, if many. I think I was the only one. I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think I was the only one to actually get the job through answering an advert. One of the guys who was at that audition, who was a guy who'd been on TV and we'd seen him a few times, actually went for the same part, and he ended up being the rock shop owner, where Tom takes his rocks to the shop and says, I've come to sell me rocks. He actually got that part instead. But I don't think, I mean, most people, the younger cast certainly got it through schools and colleges. And I think people like Nancy Clarkson and Liam, who played the dad, the mum and dad, they were asked if they'd do it. So, and I think Nancy was, she got it through a casting website. Right. So I don't think there were many that got it through, if any, that got it through answering an advert in the local paper.
Right. And are you an authentic Dales man yourself, or...?
I am. I'm Dales man through and through. I was born in a place called Pitsea in Essex. Which has probably surprised a lot of people after they've seen the film. Yeah, I was born in Essex, and I've lived up here a long time, so, you know, I mean, I've lived
I just wonder whether that authenticity of Dalesy type life had come out in your audition.
Well, yeah, because I've lived up here a long time, you know, and I mean, I've spent a long time in the Dales, a long time sort of doing what people do in the Dales, you know, for 20-odd years or so. I've lived up here, so, you know, that's how that's worked.
Okay. So when you got round to filming the Filmland, how much filming experience had you had, and what did you bring to the part as far as experience is concerned? And after you'd done it, what did you take away?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, that's dead easy to answer.
Long question, sorry.
Nothing. I had absolutely no experience whatsoever. None at all. They asked me the same question when I went for the audition, you know, sort of, have you had any experience, acting experience? So I said, well, I played pantomime dame in Brighouse about 30 years ago, and that was it for St John's in Brighouse. We'd done pantomimes for a couple of years to raise money for Childline, and that's all the acting experience that I'd had. And I'd never had any real aspirations to be an actor. You know, thought, I'll have a go. I was 55 at the time, and I thought, I've never done it before, and, you know, I don't believe that I'm the person to say I can't do it, when there's people out there that are quite capable of telling me, Alan, you're rubbish at this, you can't do it, you know, go and be a brickie or something. But they said I could do it. So that's the first part of the question answered. I'd had absolutely no experience whatsoever. The second part, what have I learned from it? No, sorry, the second part was, what did I take to it?
Yeah, nothing, obviously.
Well, I obviously took an awful lot to it. I took an awful lot to it. Yeah. A lot of my life I spent in hotels and restaurants and pubs, owning them, running them. And it was a golden opportunity to study people, and what they do and how they do it and how people speak. And I'd obviously brought that to the film. I'd brought something that Dan and Richard wanted in their film. I can't put my finger on it, because since then I've learnt that there's a whole lot more in me to take to other films and to TV and stuff that I've been working on since. So I couldn't tell you what I actually brought to it, you know, what they saw in me.
Right.
Where has it led me? It's taken me everywhere. You know, I've done other films, I've done TV work, you know, commercials, all sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, that was my next question. What you're currently working on, and what's on the horizon for you?
Right. Well, I've just finished a film in Bradford for Bradford Museum. That was a short crime drama, which I think is being shown in Bradford Museum. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Right. What's in the future? Loads and loads and loads. I'm hoping to hear any time now whether I've got a part in the next Mike Leigh film. And for those people that don't know who Mike Leigh is, he's an absolutely huge director. And when I told Dan Hartley about it, the director of Lad, he said, do you realise that people would chew their arms off to get a part in one of his films, you know? Yeah. So I'm hoping that that's going to come off. I was down in London a couple of weeks ago for a meeting about that, and maybe in the next week or so. I'm waiting to hear about a part in George Gently. So that'll be good, because I'll have to learn a whole new different accent for that one if I get it, you know. The old talk like that'll be it, doesn't he? So, you know, that's on the horizon. Other films and TV stuff that my agent has put me through for. Glenn McLaughlin, absolutely brilliant guy, has put me through for, you know, loads and loads of stuff. And you never know until you stood in front of the camera, basically, whether you've got it or not.
Well, sounds very exciting.
It is, it's great. It's like playing. It's like playing, you know, you get to shoot.
Doing a Mike Leigh film, you have to come back.
Well, you know.
It's a humble little Drystone radio.
If I do a Mike Leigh film, I'll get you to come to me. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be great. Especially if you're filming in Hollywood or something.
Well, you know, but those chances are there.
If David's listening, that's on expenses, man.
Those chances are there, you know, all from answering an ad in the newspaper.
Yeah. And so personally yourself, what are you up to, as well as...
Well, at the moment, I'm developing I have 2 websites that are being developed by my lovely wife, Pat. One is... can I give you...
Yes, you can, you can.
Anyone that wants to have a look, it's www.alangibson.info. That's ALANGIBSON.info. And that's a bit of history about me, some of the roles that I've done, some of the credits that I've got now. There's some couple of clips, my show reels on there. So you can see bits and pieces of what I've done. That's the acting side. Yeah. But I'm also developing an after-dinner speaking website as well, and a motivational speaking thing for both kids in schools and adults, and that is called it's called www.thehat.me, and if you go on to that, you'll see why it's called The Hat.
Well, I know you told me a little about The Hat over the weekend.
Yeah. It's an item of clothing that I've had for, must be 40 years or so. You know, somewhere around there.
It's been everywhere, hasn't it?
It's been everywhere. It's done everything. And, you know, people don't believe me, but everything that's on the website and more is absolutely true about that hat, you know.
Yeah.
It's a real bullet hole, and it's, you know, it has all those sort of things that are written down there, yeah.
There's blood and guts on there.
Oh, there's all sorts, you know, and the big thing is never once been washed, and I can't bring myself to do it, because
if you did put it through the way, it'd probably fall apart, wouldn't it?
I tell you what, I was even wearing that hat today. I was putting some fencing up for a friend of mine. I was even wearing it today, so...
well, you need a hat in this weather, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you could probably do with a waterproof one. So, yeah, that's, you know, I mean, have a look at the websites, and
do you want to give us those addresses again?
Yeah, the acting one is www.alangibson.info. And the public speaking one is www.thehat.me.uk. And if anyone wants to book me for public speaking, after dinner speaking, inspirational speaking, speaking to groups of kids, motivational speaking, get in touch with my manager.
Okay, excellent. Right, now, thank you very much for coming in, by the way.
Oh,
Sorry, I was about to run into the 80s again, as I know you're a big 80s fan, but first, yes, thank you very much for taking the time to come down and seeing us down here at Drystone Radio. Now, it is 80s night on View from the Clock Tower. Have you a particular favourite 80s track that you'd like me to play for you?
I do, yeah.
Make sure it's this one on here, by the way, or else the magic of radio will be lost.
Our Friends Electric by Tubeway Army.
All right, here it comes, just for you. Thank you very much, Alan.
Thank you.